Hello there, how you doing? Good evening, I'm Yalek, and we're going to do a Fat Fingers video. Very interesting time to be doing a Fat Fingers video. Currently, we are sitting on the 5-man leaderboard at, number 24. Our operation is about to end in less than 2 minutes, up in the upper left-hand corner there, and that'll give us some more force points, and so we'll see where we're going to land at the end of this operation after today. Pretty good day today, 941 force points. If I had to guess, it's going to be like in the 11 to 14 range on the leaderboard, but I haven't done the math on that. But that's most likely where we'll be hanging out. Not why I'm doing the video for this today. If you'll notice, the operation that we had today, 941 force points, that's at the top. Below that, 1131 force points. That's a very good day. That's a max force points day for a 5-man team, you know, assuming no sabotage, which, whatever, not really a huge factor. And then 2 days before that, the 952 force points. So we're going to be skipping over this 905. But, yeah, so the 1131 and the 952 there, those were great operations. And so we're going to look back at some of the hits from those, because there is some really quality stuff worth sharing there, I think, and, you know, just general bragging rights on my team. We also are 20 seconds away from a new operation, which I'm going to start promptly, and I'm going to start in the way that I usually start. So first of all, going to load Zukas. Yes, I have endless training, or instant, whatever. Endless reserves, instant training. Yeah, I mixed that up. Anyway, so when I am owing an op hit in a place like this, I will load up Zukas so as to indicate to myself, like, hey, yeah, you need to hit something. Whereas normally my default loadout would probably be Warriors, because I love Warriors so much. Anyway, ready to go there. Where are we here? Have moved up to 14. It's about right. We'll talk about that in a second. Have 5 people in the team, and everybody's promoted and ready to go. So we'll start an operation for tomorrow, today, whatever you want to call it. But all right. Those are fairly good bases for today. So looks like, I'm not going to do the notes and stuff right now, but looks like we do have a fairly good day ahead of us, assuming, quality hits, which is always the question, because, that is the game here. Never screw up, and as long as you never screw up, you will prosper. So we're going to look at the 1131 from a couple days ago. That would be 1 day, 23 hours ago. We're going to look at the 952, as I said, a couple ops below that, 3 days, 23 hours ago. If you look back to 5 days, 23 hours ago, and then both of the operations bookending that, had some really, really rough rolls, nasty shield bases, gross versions of Fang as like the 298, and then not fun versions of Alamo at the same time, stuff like that, like just impossible stuff where we were not going to do well. The 762 and the 726 over there, that'd be 4 days and 6 days ago. Not great, but we at least did something with it. There's the true bummer day, the right in between those 5 days, 23 hours ago. The 465, like that was awful. There was a torrent in there. It was not a fun torrent. We were trying to do it in 2 hits. If you're trying to do torrent in 2 hits, generally speaking, you're desperate anyway. Like, you are pushing the limits. There is no room for failure. So we did not succeed with the torrent in 2 hits, or 3, as it turned out. But, like, that's the sort of thing that makes a huge difference here. And that's why, starting the day here at 14, and we'll drop again. But, like, you know, if you really want to keep moving up, always keep moving up. You just never fail. It's that simple. You know, unless life happens, bad rolls happen, luck happens. It's just whatever. That's kind of the nature of the game. But we persevere. So anyway, gonna look at some hits. This 1131 actually, as a max force points day, was not as interesting as the 5 blue line day that we had here, the 952. There are a couple of hits from this that I really want to showcase because there was some good shit happening. So let's just get into that. So, Fran hit in one of these ops. He had to take a couple days off. I don't know, maybe he went camping or something, whatever. But, so he hit in this op. He didn't hit in the second operation. So we're probably going to double up on hits from somebody else later. Here's Fran, though, from the first op, the 952. And this is a ransom, which... it was like, this is the sort of thing that'll make you stop and think a little bit extra. I had started this operation, I believe, because I did the notes for this operation. You'll notice he threw 3 artillery cleared some mines. Right side of this machine gun, top of this machine gun, and then one on this machine gun up here. We'll get back to that in a moment. He's landing. He used a 2 smoke landing. He dropped 1 smoke, dropped all his boats, and then dropped the second smoke with a bunch of rocket launchers right in front of him. And, oh, by the way, there's a SEMO over here, right in the middle of his path. Really not a fun ransom, and it only gets worse from here. Health on this. What was the health on this? 796, so 1.6, 1.8 million-ish. And as you go up here, so... with the SEMO in particular, bullet has become the standard hit on ransom anyway, but with the SEMO you almost have to do a bullet hit, and there's a blaster here, and blasters are just especially nasty for bullet. They rip up his health very quickly. He can sit there and take shots from a boom cannon for like 10 minutes straight. That wouldn't be a problem, but a shock blaster and a bunch of machine guns, those are bad. So this was not, I was looking at this when I made the notes, this was kind of one where I flagged to the rest of the team to be like, hey, yeah, this is kind of an issue, so make sure you've got it. Like, plan well and know what you're going to do, because in particular, so like, for myself, for ransom, just for an example, like, I don't have more than 5 GBE usually. So I used to run 5.5, and then we got, HQ 24 and an extra statue. So now I run 5.6 typically when I'm here. With 5 GBE, I can usually do this walk and pull off 4 shocks. 3 shocks. With 6 GBE, sometimes I hit here with 6 GBE, then I can pull off 4 shocks. Normally, I can pull off no more than 3, and then there needs to be a critter in there somewhere. Don't know what that is, but anyway. So, like, the number of statues that you have available here really makes a difference in how you approach this hit often, and the shock blaster being here just makes this so much worse. He decides to do, this will be Fran again, the franchise, he decides to do a reverse wrap with bullet, and it didn't really cross my mind to do this hit, and at the same time, even if it had, I don't know if I would have tried this hit, but it worked, and it worked brilliantly. So, bullet is taunting a bunch of stuff and letting the Zookas just clear things. Fran has shocked up here, and then the blaster, and then reshocked on the blaster. The Zookas cleared the stuff that was up north of the core. What did we say for the health? Like 1.8 million. Worked and worked beautifully. With the blaster there, I would have been very nervous about trying that attack, and it did work out. He also, I don't know if you saw earlier, but he shocked a SEMO down here on the way by that. So, really cool hit. Not an approach I would have taken, but, then again, that's Fran, and Fran does that from time to time. Let's see. Dot on dredge. We'll hold that in mind. Might actually show that because I had a question there. Let's see. Gonna skip this one on mine because we actually have two ops to choose from here. We had 5 blue lines on the 952 and 5 blue lines on the 1131, but I killed the same base in both cases, so I had quick charge here and quick charge there. That one was a 155, this was a 190, so I'll show this one. We'll go with Dot on this Minotaur. I did have some questions about the other hit, which was Dredge. But at the end of the hit, well, we'll get to that, I suppose. But, so, Minnow, 126, health, 1.7 and some change on that, I think. Usual mine clearing, and this Minnow is kind of ridiculous. There are no rocket launchers at all. And Minotaur is one of those bases. It can range between being, like, incredibly hard and very frustrating to being stupid easy. Every once in a while you get a version of Minnow where you can just park up here above the core and do almost nothing at all, or shock 2 things or whatever, and win. It's just such a weird base. Nice landing there. I don't know if we weren't really looking at it, but Dot did the typewriter landing here, so first flaring over to the right side, then back to the left, which gets you under the range of these mortars here. And then he actually didn't, flared his troops up and didn't smoke for a bit here. Was able to save some GBE by not smoking because the mortars fire behind you. Pretty ballsy move, not gonna lie. Liked it. Nice smokes there. Looks like he's covered the usual range where the Zookas like to spread on this hit. It's super annoying. But just 2 shocks. These machine guns back here, they always pick off a few Zookas. They're not. He shot the shock launchers. Those will never be in range. The machine guns are usually in range just a little bit, depending on how you park, but they're not going to pick off enough Zookas to be meaningful most of the time. But anyway, yeah, that's a really nice Minnow. That's a great layout, and that was probably a whole lot of fun for Dot. So good for him there. Yeah, we have seen, we're going to go back to the 952. That's Dot. We've got Franchise. I'm going to skip my quick charge there. We want to watch this Phobos. This Phobos is one of the reasons that we're doing this video. I mean, 2 ops with 5 blue lines. That's also fantastic. This Phobos was a nutcracker. Like, this was a disgusting layout. I will be honest, I despaired of this layout. I did not. I looked at it. I didn't really see a plan for it. I'm usually the guy who has weird ideas. Many times they work, sometimes they do not. But I'm like trying to think out of the box. I had no out of the box ideas for this Phobos. This is disgusting. This is what you call a meat grinder with just like there's an acre of rocket launchers down here and the usual stuff up here, and it's all nasty. In particular for Zookas, low health, 1.2, 1.4 million total, but like you can't just throw a critter somewhere and be done with it. Like on Orbifold sometimes. You can just leave some rockets unshocked and just like critter in one spot, throw it behind you, and let those rockets just work on that box of critters. There's too much stuff here with splash damage, machine guns, shock launchers, an enormous amount of rocket launchers, like stupid amounts of rocket launchers. I had no ideas for this. This is what Sven came up with, and it was great. And then afterwards I asked him where he had ever seen this before. He's got Bullet and 7 boats of Zookas. He's farmed a whole bunch. And apparently this was an original. He just came up with this, so we're going to watch and enjoy. Like, what happens next is really fucking fun. Oh, oops. Yeah, I'm probably not supposed to say that. Well, it still is, though. So, we're going up the left side of the core here. He has Bullet and he has Azukas. He lost a few on the walk, but, you know, we're not so much worried about numbers as, you know, just getting Zukas. A meaningful number of Zukas needs to get there. Look at that. But with the low core health, like, you don't have to have every single girl here. It's really just about the positioning, and this was where, you know, my jaw dropped. So, he's gone up the left side of the core. He used this corner here, used a wall flare to get his Zukas walking in a nice straight line. He flared to the spot exactly where he wanted Bullet to be. Bullet being in that spot is going to move all his Zukas, as you can see with the smokes there. He's going to move all of his Zukas up. That would be, they're going to be at like 1 o'clock on this hit. And Bullet is going to take all of the fire from all of this crap down here. Just the fields of rocket launchers. It's in a harvest of rocket launchers down here. It's like stupid amount of rocket launchers. Well, that's Bullet. That's like his specialty, right? Did not see this. Did not see this coming. Like, did not envision this. This was fun. This was fun to watch. He's moved up Suzuka's to 12, actually. I think I said 1 earlier. 12. 12, and so from there, Bullet will take all of the fire from these rocket launchers. He is also going to taunt in this exact spot. He will taunt these lower 2 shock launchers. The one he's standing right next to, and then the one next to that. This shock launcher, your Zukas here are mainly going to be standing in its blind spot, so it won't factor in. You are going to have to worry about these machine guns. He has farmed a whole lot, so he has shocked Bullet, 1 shock on the machine guns, that's 2 shocks. These rocket launchers, that's 3 shocks, and you're going to need to shock these at 4 shocks. So, alright, 4 shocks, that's pretty fair. He's going to have more later, and we'll talk about that in a second, but, you know, that's the basic plan. And meanwhile, let as many Zukas as possible work on the court. You see how they're all standing in the blind spot of this shock launcher? Yeah, that's good. That's some fun stuff. Now, the shocks are going to expire here on the machine guns, have expired here on the shock launcher or rocket launchers up top. They can only see so many of the girls. He did reshock for a 5th shock. He did reshock over here on the 3 rocket launchers. But yeah, isn't that wacky? That's some fun stuff right there. Definitely worth a video. That and the Fran hit earlier, you know, I mean, it's stupid level stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good. I think I'm going for my hit. I'm going for the 1131, which was the max day. This was the 190 quick charge. Nothing really all that special here. This is I used on the 155 from the other day. In this video where we had like the 5 blue lines, was a 155 quick charge. I also used all bombers, and it's kind of an either or here. You can go with Zukas, you can go with bombers, you could go with a mix. Honestly, I don't hate the bombers. I like walking bombers. That's my thing. They're much easier to walk with heroes than Zukas are, actually. And you just kind of account for the fact that, yeah, they're ridiculous and they're going to spread all over the place because that's what they do. So I came out of smoke here, shocking. I threw a critter ahead of time and just, you know, accepted the fact that the bombers are going to spread all over creation. There's so much GBE back here with all of these cells. So I wasn't really worried about having enough GBE to, you know, keep shocking things or clear these mines or whatever. It was really just a matter of getting my troops to here, and then I didn't bother like trying to smoke over the area where they were going to park because they're bombers. They're going to spread all over the place, and kind of in some situations it's appropriate to try to cover their parking spot. In this one, it's actually easier just to let them walk out of smoke and shock ahead of time. So, from here, this is a really, really basic hit. The 155 was pretty much the same, to be honest. I'm not sure if I used a different hero. I usually use Everspark on Quick Charge. I might have used a different ability. Sometimes I'll go with Hack, and very often I'll go with Critters. Here I definitely went with Critters. There's a lot of Critters up there. Again, just gathering more GBE, more shocks, more Critters to distract things down here so that nothing can pick off your bombers. I think I lost, I want to say I lost 2 bombers on this hit. We have deployable turret here, so I'm just tossing that out there. Again, since I have extra GBE available, I'm throwing that out there for more damage. In this case, to make sure that the shield dies, to make sure that the core dies. You know, like this has to be a solo, so. Pretty, I mean, I'd love to say that's new, but it's, you know, it's one of the ways of approaching this base since bombers have been introduced to the game. That's pretty standard. So let's see. So we also have Argus. It was a Dioxin 155, and Argus on the blue water. All right, I kind of want to watch the blue water. It's also a 155. And this is not how I would have gone about this, so I'm kind of curious. I haven't seen this hit yet. This was the end of our last operation. He's using turret. I like this. Alright, this isn't... Already, we have a fun start. He's using the turret to make sure that rocket launcher here... Rocket launcher here just has no chance to touch his troops, using it as a distraction over there. It doesn't work very well as a distraction in front of things like cannons and boom cannons, because the turret, it has fantastic health, but, you know, things that have huge damage like these cannons will eat it up pretty quickly. But back here on the shore, where he was using it to distract a rocket launcher, turret is just genius for rocket launchers. You can do all kinds of crazy things because the rocket launchers do a little bit of damage, but over a wide area. So, you know, they're not. It's not like they're taking thousands of health off that turret in any given shot. So, yeah, this is different. Not probably what I would have thought. I'm not sure. I think I looked at this and I was thinking I would have approached this with probably bombers and bullet and energy drink. That turret on the shore finally died right there. That took a while. Anyway, he's already to the back corner of the base and has cleared a couple of the shield generators, and yeah, that turret survived that entire time. So he's going to clear himself out a nice parking spot. He's got now normally you would clear some of this stuff over here. I'm interested to see how he's going to handle this from here, because more turret. I hadn't thought of that. Well, now that turret got blasted because the boom cannons were nearby, but he's ripping through this shield at the same time. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was interesting. Like that was racing against the clock right there, because he didn't seem to have any more GBE, no more shocks for the shock launchers and rocket launcher down here, and so on, and no more turrets, no more critters, whatever. And he was just racing against the clock on those. He's just like ripping through the shield and the remaining health on this core, while these rocket launchers are just standing and staring at him. Pretty cool. That was a good hit. That was a lot. I hadn't seen that, and I didn't realize that was going to be that fun. So anyway, it's not that there aren't other hits that I would like to show you. It's just that, you know, we're out of time. So, yeah, up to number 14 again. Roll dependent, luck dependent. We press on regardless. Today looks like a good day, and if I'm lucky, and if we're lucky, then I get to make another of these videos very soon. In the meantime, gonna sign off, but, you know, have a great night. Like, thumbs up, and whatever, and I'll catch you guys later.